In October of 1998, a family of 4 disappeared from their farmhouse overnight. No signs of struggle, no blood, no bodies. But what investigators found inside the house made absolutely no sense, because dinner was still warm on the table and someone was still watching television upstairs. In the rural outskirts of Black Hollow County, surrounded by miles of dead farmland and abandoned roads, sits a decaying farmhouse locals refuse to drive past after dark. Most people know it as the Mercer House, but for nearly 3 decades, it has been known by another name, the Silent House, because in '98, the Mercer family vanished inside it without leaving behind a single trace. Daniel Mercer was 42 years old, a quiet farmer known for keeping to himself. His wife, Elaine Mercer, worked as a school librarian in town. Together they raised 2 children, 16-year-old Lily and 9-year-old Ben. To outsiders, the family seemed normal. No financial problems, no criminal history, no known enemies, but neighbors later told police something strange had been happening during the weeks leading up to their disappearance. Lights inside the farmhouse would flicker at odd hours of the night. The family had started keeping their curtains closed, even during the day, and according to one nearby resident, Daniel Mercer had become terrified of something walking in the fields at night. October 14th, 1998, a thunderstorm rolled through Black Hollow County shortly after midnight. Around 1:17 a.m., multiple neighbors reported hearing the Mercer family's dogs barking violently. Then suddenly, silence. The next morning, Elaine never arrived at work. Lily missed school, and Daniel failed to deliver supplies into town. By evening, police were called to the property. Sheriff Howard Green was the first officer to enter the Mercer farmhouse. What he found inside would haunt him for the rest of his life. The front door was unlocked. The kitchen lights were still on. Dinner plates sat untouched on the table, with food still partially warm. A television upstairs played static in an empty bedroom. But the strangest detail, every clock inside the house had stopped at exactly 1:17 a.m. During the investigation, police discovered dozens of cassette tapes hidden in Daniel Mercer's basement workshop. Most contained random recordings of nighttime sounds from outside the farmhouse. Wind, rain, footsteps, but one tape changed everything. Recorded just hours before the family disappeared, investigators heard Daniel whispering into the recorder. His breathing sounded panicked. Then he said, "It's standing near the barn again." A few seconds later, another sound appeared on the tape. Heavy footsteps moving through wet grass, slow, deliberate. Then a child's voice whispered, "Dad, it's looking at us." Search teams spent weeks combing through the surrounding farmland. No footprints, no evidence of kidnapping, nothing. But one investigator later revealed something disturbing that was never released publicly. About 300 yards from the farmhouse, officers discovered a circle of dead grass in the middle of the field. In the center stood an old wooden chair facing directly toward the Mercer house. And carved into the chair were 3 words: "Don't look away." Over the years, investigators proposed countless theories: a murder, a cult abduction, a planned disappearance. But none of them explained the evidence. No vehicles were seen leaving the property. No financial activity ever appeared again. And despite massive searches across multiple states, the Mercer family was never found. In 2006, 8 years after the disappearance, 2 urban explorers entered the abandoned farmhouse, hoping to film the property for a local documentary. Their footage was later uploaded online. The video shows the pair walking through the dark upstairs hallway before one of them suddenly freezes. On camera, the figure can briefly be seen standing inside Lily Mercer's bedroom, tall, motionless, watching them from the darkness. Seconds later, the camera cuts to static. The explorers left immediately. They never returned to the house again. Today, the Mercer farmhouse still stands rotting in the middle of Black Hollow County. Empty, silent, waiting. Some locals claim they still see lights glowing inside the upstairs window late at night. Others say if you stand in the fields after midnight, you can hear footsteps moving slowly through the grass behind you. But whatever happened to the Mercer family that stormy night in 1998, one thing remains certain. Something was already inside that house before they disappeared. If you enjoyed this case file, subscribe for more true horror documentaries every week. And tell me in the comments, what do you think happened to the Mercer family?